Tasha, Mama Bear Homestead. Today I want to talk about, just real quickly, I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but I want to talk about something that is a homestead skill, something that is absolutely required when you're either prior to starting a homestead, during homestead. It's super important throughout you having the homestead and trying to build this home up for self-sufficiency. And that is the importance of researching. I think that a lot of people, first of all, don't know how to research. It is something that you can just teach yourself. There's different workshops and stuff, but it's also something that you can easily self-teach yourself, right? We have such a huge ability as far as the internet and just a touch of a button, finding out information, tons of literature out there, right? Our books haven't been taken from us. Tons of stuff that you can still get, manuals to then teach us stuff, teach us skills. But the art of researching and the skill of researching stuff is super important, because, you know, you think about it before you buy a homestead, not us so much, because, you know, we had this home already and we've decided we're going to try to give this place a go. But we look at homes all the time in different states and we research like crazy, because there's certain aspects, if we do make a move, that we absolutely must have if we're going to make a move, right? And that takes a lot of research. It takes a lot of research to find that home that has the attributes that you want. It takes a lot of research when it comes to what state, what city, where to land, right? And so a lot of research is involved. Research in everything we do, almost every single project that you take on, whether it's even something as simple as the garden. People are like, oh, it's just a garden, just put stuff together and grow. But no, even researching when to plant stuff, when to harvest stuff, you know, what zone, researching the zone that you live in, what plants work in this area, right? When is frost coming? Just knowing these things matter, just from as simple as your garden, right? Researching pests, when pests come in and they come in and get on a plant, having to research and understand what's happening. What is this insect? How can I get rid of it? All these things, right? Chicken coop, right? Whether you buy it or make it, there's research that was involved in that to make sure that you get all the things that you want, right? Or if you add to it, you're researching maybe how to build something or do something, or you're researching just basically for ideas of different things that other people are doing that you want to do, right? You know how often, you know, you could call it just, I'm just spending time on Pinterest and spending time on IG, but you have no idea how many projects and ideas I get from other homesteaders on those platforms, things that they're doing, the way they built their coops, the things that they did, you know, do-it-yourself type projects that they did to add that made their life easier, right? Greenhouse, it doesn't, the garden layout, once you expand, where you're going to do the compost, you know, where you're going to have the wood pile, where are you going to have certain things, other animals when you introduce them. All of that stuff takes research. When it's time to get animals, you have to research. You have to research the animal, why you're getting it. Are you getting the right kind? How fast do they grow? When is their life cycle? How long do they typically live? When can you butcher them? All of these things, what do they eat? Does that change over time as they grow? There's all these things that you don't just do this. And I think that's why homesteaders are like, this homesteading is hard. It's not easy. And we don't even have like a farm, like a, you know, you don't go out and we have rolling pastures and trees and all this stuff. I have a half-acre backyard, which, baby, I'm trying to tell you, I am about to do it, right? Now, I can't have pastures of cows and pastures of horses and different things, right? But there is a lot that I can do here. And I say that because I think there's so many people that put themselves in a bubble that they can't homestead, that they can't do certain things because they are in a suburban area, or they are in an area where they just have a small piece of land. They only have a half acre, or they only have an acre, and they think that's not big enough to homestead. I can't do anything. But there's so many aspects of homesteading through research that you realize you can do a lot of these things anywhere, okay? Yes, I get it. There's some restrictions for folks in apartments and things like that, but in renters, but there's a lot that you can do if you own your home and you have even a little bit of property, right? And even me, once I kind of fill it up, I mean, I'm figuring out the layout now, and everything is to fill every single piece. You know, we're not growing grass here. We're going to be growing food here. And living a productive and building this place up for self-sufficiency. We have so many projects to get forward with that. But that happened through research. Research also helps you understand which projects need to come first, which ones are going to take the longest. Maybe you had a thought process of wanting to do something a certain way, and once you research, you realize, okay, that's dead in the water. We're not doing that, right? So very, very important. And I think it's a skill that we don't talk about, but it's a must-have skill if you ever want to try to do homesteading, or even just simply say, I want to live a self-sufficient life. I want to get to the point where we're growing our own food, or maybe raising some of our own livestock, we're taking care of animals, you know, we're figuring out different ways to power. We have our water sources, we have our wood sources, whatever the case may be. You have your pieces that you feel like would make your life better, and that if the world goes crazy or something major happens, you can still continue to thrive in that location, right? Yes, some things will still change for you guys because it just will. But if you're building for self-sufficiency, that means that you're building to have ways that or things that will kick in when certain things go down, right? EMP, I just talked about EMP, not really EMPs, but I mentioned it on my other channel, my other video, and just how that thing, if that happened, how that would bring you to your knees. And, you know, in the thought process, if you are a homesteader or you're somebody who's already practicing self-reliance, self-sufficiency, right? You're already practicing doing things for yourself, making your own medicines, right? Making your own food, raising your own meat animals. You're already well into gardening and harvesting and processing and preserving that stuff. All those skills that you learn and you're doing, regardless of where you're at, is already going to prolong and make that situation, you're already going to be well ahead of a lot of people. Now, what I would say is if you have a homestead, you're not guaranteed to survive, because there's a certain will, a certain grit, a certain adaptability that's going to have to happen. And some folks, even folks on homesteads, are not going to be able to make it. And because they didn't prepare with that kind of mindset that things could go left, and stockpiling stuff, whether it's food, whether it's garden seeds, whether it's keeping their seeds. You know, they might have been gardening for years and never kept a seed. You never know the situation. So you can't necessarily say, well, homesteaders are awesome and they're going to make it. But I think that through research, you learn about yourself, you learn about what you want to do, you build as you go, self-reliant, keep going, keep moving. And when something happens, you are going to naturally be ahead of the curve. You're going to be ahead of it. And although things will change, you know, maybe you didn't get the power situation worked out right prior, right, to be able to make your own power, and something like that happens, you know, then you'll just have to be ready, and hopefully you have other things in place in your home to help you with that, oil lamps or whatever the case may be, fireplace, whatever. Okay, so I think it's important, like I've mentioned in other videos, molding, prepping, preparedness, homesteading together. But all of that to be successful, I think, takes research. You know, even older people, right, that maybe are not techie, they did research. They just did it word of mouth. They did it by talking to neighbors, talking to other people that do that. Hey, I'm having a problem with this. What'd you do? Talking to each other, calling somebody up on the telephone maybe, right? So even though that generation that wasn't maybe techie, right, they still did that research just in a different way, right? You know, maybe it's animals came out and they're getting some research and they're getting information from the veterinarian, you know, whatever it was. They were doing research. And so I think it's just an important skill that nobody really talks about. And if you're not that type of person, I think it's really important that you start teaching yourself. And this could be something as simple as just utilizing your Google. I will sit there and just ask a question. what's the best chicken? I'm just using an example. What's the best chicken? Articles will come up, different stuff, right? And you'll go through it. You'll see which ones are bona fide places, which is just like people's YouTube channel maybe pops up. And then below that, there's always other questions, right? Maybe you get to a chicken and you ask about that chicken, and then there's other questions that tell you about that chicken. What's the lifespan of that chicken? What color eggs? More information about the chicken. And you just go down a rabbit hole of researching the thing that you started researching, right? And you're writing notes and you're taking notes. All types of information like that I can't tell you how many times me finding the answer for something started with Google and going down a rabbit hole and taking notes, right? And when you're doing that, your mind is thinking about other questions. The search engine is trying to think for you and think of other questions that you might want answers to as well that relate to what you were already asking, right? And so take advantage of that, right? And get your literature, get your books, get your manuals, get the physical things in your home to help you so that you can continue to have stuff to research and look up later after maybe we don't have the internet anymore. Okay, so I hope you guys stay well. I did drop a video on my other channel. I do that every single day except Sundays. So if you haven't checked out Mama Bear Prepping, go ahead and check out that channel. Link is in the description box below. Seeds. So I have links below for seeds, for survival garden seeds. Great company. Love their seeds. They're basically all the seeds I'm using. I have another girlfriend on Etsy that I buy seeds from. Buckeye Seeds. I love her seeds as well. Beautiful packaging, beautiful seeds. Absolutely love her. Buckeye Seeds on Etsy. And then Survival Garden Seeds. I have the link for Survival Garden Seeds below, and there is a discount code. So make sure if you're going to get seeds from them that you use the discount code so that you can get a little bit of a discount, okay? They got microgreens. They have regular seeds. I've literally used their seeds for my whole indoor garden. And then pretty much, I'd say right now 50-50 for the Buckeye Seeds and Survival Garden Seeds. So you guys stay well, and I'll see you guys on Friday on the next video. Take care. Bye.